Hello guys, Tony here, welcome to another video tutorial, and in this video lesson we're going to create this really cool logo animation step by step, easy to follow. Also I want to thank you again for watching this tutorial and for supporting me, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also turn on the bell icon so you can always get a notification whenever I post a new clip. Alright, without any further ado, let's jump into After Effects and get started. Okay, we're here in After Effects, and as you can see I already have my final composition. To create it, just hit on this little icon here. And this is a 4K composition, 5 seconds long, 30 frames per second. And for composition name, type whatever you want, but I have already typed final. Hit OK, and now it's time to create background. Right click and then go to new. And to create a new solid, we will call it, of course, background. Hit OK, and then go to Effects and Preset on the right side and type here 4-color gradient, drag and drop onto our background layer, and now we will reposition our points. First one move to around here, second one to maybe around here, third one like so, and fourth one around here. We will now change our colors. For this first one I will choose also blue. You can also use this eyedropper. For the second one, maybe to use this pink color or so, like this, and for third one maybe also blue color here on our 4-color gradient. You can of course choose your own specific colors, but I like this combination of blue and this pink one. Hit OK, now close this effects control for now, then go here on background, go to edit and then duplicate, or hit Ctrl+D. Hit enter on your keyboard and I will rename it ball action. Hit F3 on your ball action, just delete 4-color gradient for now. Go to Effects and Preset and find here ball action effect. Drag and drop onto our layer. Also add here fill effect. Drag and drop also on our ball action. Change this color to white, and for the grid spacing type 10, and for the ball size type 20. Now we have something like this. For blending mode, find here overlay, and as you can see we have our really cool tiny dots here in our final composition. Okay, I will close the effects control for now, and now it's time to also create our rectangles, our shape. Go to here on this rectangle tool or hit Q for the rectangle tool. Also for the stroke, type here 300. Make sure that our fill is set to none, and to unselect our first and second layer, hold shift while you're drawing this rectangle. Also you can hit the spacebar to move it on the left or right, and when you're satisfied with your shape, just release your left mouse button. And also now it's time to make also a few adjustments here on our shape layer 01. I will hit enter and rename it to rectangle 01, like so. Also hit R for rotation, go to maybe 45, and now it's time to also add a few effects on our rectangle 01. Go to Effects and Preset, type here also 4-color gradient, drag and drop on our rectangle and find here white, gray colors for all of our points, like so. Play around like here, and for the one also gray one, and also grab the points, move it like so. And now it's time to change our blending mode here from normal to multiply, and now in our finals we have a shape like this. Now it's time to animate our rectangle 01. Go to maybe 1 second and 15 frames, like so. Hit S on your keyboard to find here scale. Set up our first keyframe. Maybe we can lower our size of this shape maybe to around 90% or so, like here, and then go to around 0 frames, hit here also 0, and as you can see, when we hit spacebar or 0 on our keyboard, we have basic animation like this. Also hit R for rotation, set up our first keyframe also here on 1 second and 15 frames, and then go here maybe to 0 frames and type here -180. And now when we hit 0, we have this cool animation of our rectangle. Hit also U on our rectangle layer, choose all of our keyframes, hit F9, and then go to graph editor and draw a curve like this. Okay, if you can't find curve like this, just go right click and then find it here, edit speed graph. And now when we hit 0, we have animation like this here in our final composition. Also, next thing what we can do is to duplicate our rectangle 01. I will just hit Ctrl+D, move it below this rectangle 01 and rename it rectangle 01 shadow. For this shadow, delete this 4 color gradient, type here fill effect, drag and drop onto our shadow layer, change this color to black color, and also find here effect radial fast blur, drag and drop onto our layer and reposition our center to maybe like so, and for the amount go to around maybe 85% or so. And also you can, for this blending mode from multiply, find here normal, and now when we hit 0 we have this really cool shadows here on our rectangle shape. Okay, our next step is to lower opacity of our rectangle 01. Hit T on your keyboard and change opacity to maybe around 60%, and for shadow also hit T and type here 40%. And now as you can see, we have this shape like so here in our finals. Okay, now what we can do is to duplicate this rectangle 01. This is gonna be rectangle 02. Hit T for opacity, type here 100, and for the stroke width change here to maybe around 200. And also effect that we're going to use is Venetian blinds, drag and drop also on our rectangle 02. And for the transition completion, you can play around. I will type here maybe to around 70, to direction to maybe around 90, and for width to maybe around 40. And now as you can see, we have something like this here in our final composition. Also this rectangle 02 move 5 frames ahead, and when we hit 0 we have this really cool animation of our first and our second rectangle. Okay, one thing we have forgotten to do is to hit right click here on our rectangle, go to layer styles and find here bevel and emboss. Go open up this bevel and emboss layer styles. You can play around with the options. As you can see, we have this really cool shiny edge of our rectangle. You can crank up this size, also play around with the option, direction up or down according your needs. I will leave this to up, size maybe to around 10. Also you can play around with the angle, attitude, and so on. Now when we hit 0 we have this really cool animation in our finals. Also hit Ctrl+C to copy this bevel and emboss and paste it here for our rectangle 02. Also when we hit 0, as you can see, bevel and emboss has been already applied also on our second rectangle. Okay, next thing what we're gonna do is to create another solid layer here in our finals. Right click, find here a solid. I will rename it star burst, hit OK, and then in effects and preset find star burst effect, drag and drop on our layer. And also we will make a few adjustments. Also we will add a fill effect here on our starburst layer. Also drag and drop, change color to white, and for the scatter go to around maybe 800, and for the speed change here to maybe 0.3 or 4 according your needs. And now in our finals, as you can see, we have these particles, and this is looking really cool here in our final composition. Alright, also I have my logo here. You will import your own footage, your own logo. I will just drag and drop below this star bursts and reposition here your logo to maybe 10 frames ahead, because our first rectangle is here on 0 frames, second one at 5 frames, and for the logo go to around 10 frames. Also hit this rectangle O1 and then hit F3, W to show all of our keyframes. Hold Shift for scale and rotation, hit Ctrl+C to copy. Go here on the beginning of our logo composition or logo layer and then paste it, hit Ctrl+V. And now in our finals, when we hit 0, I'll just lower the resolution for faster preview here to 1/4. And now when we hit 0, we have this really cool animation. And instead of this, hit U for rotation. Instead of 45 for this logo, just hit 0 on our second keyframe here. And also now when we hit spacebar or 0 on our keyboard, we have this really cool looking and easy to create animation. Alright, now what we can do also is to duplicate this logo layer once again. Hit Ctrl+D and then find here effect Radial fast blur, drag and drop on the second one, and also make sure to move this center to the left like so. Type also here fill effect, drag and drop on our second one, change color to black one, and also just reposition according your needs here for our radial fast blur and play around with the amount. I'm satisfied to maybe around 90 or so. And also you can play around with the opacity, hit T, maybe to around 50% or 60. And in our finals now also our logo has this really cool and awesome shadows. Alright, next thing what we're gonna do is to also duplicate this rectangle O1 once again. Move it above this rectangle O2, also move this one to around 10 frames, and now we will also reposition our first and second logo to 15 frames. For this rectangle O3, we will also make a few adjustments. When we hit 0 now, this is looking like so. Hit S on your keyboard, instead of for our second keyframe, instead of 90, go to around maybe 270, play around until you're satisfied. You can also go maybe around 250 or 40. And now in our finals, when we hit 0, we have something like this. Also, our next step is to hit Ctrl+A to pre-compose all of our layers. Right click and pre-compose, make sure to move all attributes into the new composition and then hit OK. Instead of this pre-comp, we can rename it to logo animation. Also go here again, right click, find here adjustment layer. For the adjustment layer, find here CC spotlight, drag and drop on top of our adjustment layer, and now play around with the handles until you're satisfied, like so. For the cone angle, go to around maybe 15. Edge softness, play around to maybe around 100, and for intensity I will do 60%. This is looking really cool for now. Now go here again in our final composition. Also right click, find here new solid layer. I will rename it grid wipe, hit OK, and here in effects and preset find CC grid wipe, drag and drop onto our layer here in our finals, go to around 2 seconds, and now also we will make a few adjustments for this grid wipe, set up our keyframe for completion, change it to around 100, then go to around 0 frames and type here also 0. And now, as you can see, we have this opening grid wipe here in our finals. Alright, our next step is also to open up this logo animation, hit here on this background, copy this four color gradient, and then paste it here on our grid wipe. For the second color we will do blue one, and for the third one we will do this pink. You can also use eyedropper like so, and for this second one I will change it to blue. Also we will add here a drop shadow effect. Find here drop shadow, drag and drop. For this distance type here maybe 30, softness to around 20, and now in our finals we have this really cool animation. Also hit U for all of our keyframes, choose them and then hit F9. And now when we hit 0, we have our final animation. And another thing that we can do is to open up again this logo animation, move the third rectangle to 0 frames. And also for the stroke width, instead of 300, we will try maybe 20. And now in our final, we have different kind of animation. Of course, you can play around with our rectangles, with our shape, until you are satisfied with the result. This is looking for me really cool. It's easy to create, easy to follow. Also, of course, you will import your logo, change colors if you want. You can also play around with the blending modes and so on. What you can do next is to open up again this logo animation, right click and then go new to find here adjustment layer. We will rename it to light sweep. Also move it to around below this spotlight adjustment layer. Also we'll rename it here spotlight. Okay, click here to light sweep, find the same effect here in the effects at light sweep, drag and drop onto our adjustment layer, and for direction change here 90, and also play around with the center, move it around here like so. For the edge intensity and edge thickness, choose 0, width play around, maybe to around 150, and also hit T for opacity here on our layer and move it around maybe 30 or 40%, like so, maybe around 35. And as you can see, we have this cool shadow here on in our finals in the middle of our composition. Okay, and now in our finals, when we hit 0, we have this really cool and creative animation. Alright guys, hope you liked this tutorial. This was easy to create a logo. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Also, if you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button. I want to thank you again for watching this tutorial. Also take a look on my channel for even more great tutorials. And until next time, stay creative and bye bye.